Hello everybody, welcome to today's lesson. And today's video is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to try, instead of recording my screen or instead of recording me on my Windows computer, I'm going to be showing this lesson by recording the screen of a Chromebook. Since Chromebooks don't have a ton of apps, I have to just record the screen, and it might not look the best, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to go through the next pages of our notes, so I'm just going through the folders. Okay, so notice that I downloaded the PDF, so that way it's out of Schoology, and then I opened it in the next tab, and then it looks like in the Chromebook there's this little tool called Annotate. I'm going to try and see if that thing works. I might need my mouse for this, because right now I'm just using a little touchpad, but let's see how this Annotate works. Yeah, that's not good. I need my mouse. Okay. Alright, so let's go to the next page because this is the actual page that we're doing for today. Now that I have my mouse, I'm going to be writing on my screen using my mouse. If you don't have a mouse, I would recommend, well, even if you do have a mouse, I would recommend if you bought a stylus. It doesn't have to be a really expensive stylus, it just needs to be some sort of stylus that works on screens, and you could probably find it for less than $10 if you have a touchscreen laptop. Okay, so it says fill out the table to graph the quadratic functions. I'm going to show you how you can do this with a calculator. If you come down here to the bottom left of your Chromebook, it'll open up some of your apps. The app that we need is not the regular calculator, but we need the TI-84 Plus app. Now that we have this app, this thing is just a virtual version of the TI-84 calculator, which is the type that we would use in class. We're going to type this equation into the calculator. Look at all these buttons, and if you want to, you can just play around with some of them. If you click this, it opens up these tools. If you click this, it didn't do anything. And how you get out of wherever you're at. Okay, so if you look here, clicking here doesn't do anything, but you can scroll by using the up arrow, the down arrow, the right arrow. The right arrow will change these tabs. To get out of here, let me see if clear works. Okay, so clear works. Let's go back there. And the other way to get out of a screen is to push second and mode. When you push second, it makes it so that anything that's blue on the calculator, it'll do that function instead of whatever's in white. So if I open up something like the window and I push second and mode, that blue text is quit. So that's how you quit out of whatever application you have open. If you click the graph button, it'll show you a graph. To get the graph to show up, we have to type in this equation. This equation starts with y equals. So since it starts with y equals, we're going to go and click the button that says y equals, and then it shows all of these things. It shows all of these y1, y2, y3, y4. That means you could graph up to 10 lines at once, or it starts with 1, so 1 through 9. Okay, there's that 10th one down there at the bottom. So you can graph 10 lines at once, and you can use different colors for them if you want to. If you click the left arrow and then enter, we can change the color of our line. Let's make this one green. Sure, why not? If you were in person, I would just have you do this on the regular calculator, but I hope that this lesson showing you this calculator is going to be helpful for you. So we have y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. So we're just going to copy that right here. The button that you push to get the x to show up is this button. You don't, notice that after I push that, whenever I wanted to clear it off so I can type something else, I push the clear. You don't use this whenever you're typing X. This is multiply. This button right here next to the green button, alpha, is the X button. So that's X, and we need it squared. So let's search through the calculator, but I already know the squared button is right here. It says X squared, but this button, what it does is it takes whatever you have that's already written there, and then when you push it, it just throws a squared on it. So we have X squared now. We need to copy the rest of this one, which is minus 2X and a minus 3. Once we have this matching our equation, we can push the graph button, and there it already throws up a graph. So if you graphed this by hand already, if you already filled this in, you could check it with a calculator. The problem with the graph on a calculator is that it doesn't have any numbers on it. All it has is these tick marks, and you can't zoom in. I can't scroll to make this big. If I maximize it, that didn't really help anything at all either. So let's just keep this minimized off to the side right here. In order to get this graph on our paper, we need to fill in this table. Luckily, right next to the graph button are the words table. And since that word table is in blue, if we push the blue button and then push that, it opens up the table. Look at this table right here. It has -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and those are for the x's. If you look here, we have x's, and it goes 0 through 10. But I need to have the numbers for -2, so I'm going to push this up arrow, and it's going to scroll my table upwards. You could scroll as high as you want, and the calculator will keep on going, but it'll take you just as long to get back down to wherever we actually need. So maybe don't go too far. We need -2. -2 for x is paired with y is 5. So down here, we're going to put 5. -1 for x is paired with 0. 0 goes with -3, I think. I'm pretty far away from my screen, so I can't tell. 0, -3, -4, -3. -3, -4, -3. Now let's make these ordered pairs and turn them into points. So -2, 5, -1, 0, 0, -3, -4, sorry, 1, -4, 1 to the right, -4, 2, -3. Since this doesn't look like a symmetrical graph yet, let's go ahead and grab that next point. 3 goes with 0. 1, 2, 3 goes with 0. And here we can connect like this and like this. Oh, I missed that completely. Eraser? Cool. So if you're writing on this, if you're drawing this on paper, I would expect your graph to be a lot neater. Or if you had a stylus, this would be easy. But I'm using a mouse, so it's understandable. So let me go ahead and show you how you can do a fraction in this calculator. So let's click the app. We need to get out of this. Let me see if clear works. Nope. So that means to get out of this, we need to push second mode. Second mode got us out of the table. We're going to open up the y equals. I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to clear it. There's no way to undo once you do this, as far as I know. There's no way to undo without just retyping the whole thing. Let me see if my keyboard can type. If I do a 1, oh, okay, so if you want to use your keyboard, you can do that too. 1 divided by 2, because we're copying number 2, y equals 1/2 x squared minus 2. So we're going to do 1 divided by 2, because that's what 1/2 is saying. We need an x, and we need it squared. I wonder if I can do... Okay, so you could do shift and 6, just like you would on Desmos, and then type in the 2. To get out of that, I have to go to the right and then subtract 2. Okay, this should match this because according to the order of operations, it's going to do 1 divided by 2, and then it's going to multiply by x squared, and then it's going to subtract 2. 1 divided by 2, x squared minus 2. It should work. Let's look at the graph to just make sure that it read it correctly. This is a curve, so it looks good. Now let's push second in graph, and that's how we opened up the table. Now let's copy down the answers for y for the x's of -2. We got 0, -1.5, -2. 0, -1.5, -2, -1.5, 0. And if you look at these numbers are a lot better than these ones, because this one is actually centered around 0 still. If you look here, this one's 0, this one's 0, this one's -1.5, this one's -1.5, and they have a bit of symmetry to these numbers. Whereas with these ones, they're not centered around 0, they were centered around the +1. This was the middle of the graph. Based off of these numbers and how they're showing up, I can already guess that this is going to be the center of the curve. So 0 with -2 will be the middle. -1, -1.5, so that's 1 to the left and 1.5 down. -2, 0. 1, -1.5. 2, 0. Connect this side and this side.